Saturn in Taurus represents the integrity of ownership. This is a powerful, a very strong placement when it comes to enforcing one's value, all right? And the reason why this is very significant is because this enables one the totality of value relative to what they own and their ability to manifest. Meaning that when they bring something into form, unlike the Taurus placement that's going to really put in grounded effort to make something real, the Saturn in Taurus is going to take their time to bring everything that is necessary to own this value they're putting out. That's why Dame Dash is a quintessential example of Saturn in Taurus. Throughout his whole career, he has preached ownership. And when you put the planet of authority, integrity, and totality in a sign of value, manifestation, and ownership, it really lets you know the lengths with which these natives take seriously what they produce. Taurus is the zodiac sign of the producer. So when you have Saturn here, this gives the native integrity in their own production. The best way to really piss off a Saturn in Taurus is to poke fun or try and find holes in what they own. It's to try and buy them. It's to try to think, oh, okay, you can work for me. Saturn, first of all, Taurus is a boss, period. Taurus is the self-made natural king and queen who got it from the mud. So when you put Saturn here, them working for someone else is out the question. Can they still be an employee? Absolutely, and they'll be a very solid employee that people would think is the manager if they walked in there, or the boss, but ownership suits y'all so much better. In the tarot, Saturn in Taurus is the Seven of Pentacles, which is a card of long-term investments, promise of fortune. You take your time to mature what it is you invest in what you do so that that payoff becomes big. Nothing about Saturn and Taurus is quick. Taurus is the slowest zodiac sign. That's why we have groundedness. That's why we have, the earth element that slows down molecules. So taking a big pitfall for Saturn and Taurus, or dealing with the Saturn and Taurus, is to rush the process. This is standardization and testing that has to go through each phase in order for something solid to be produced. Saturn and Taurus take great pride in their production, and they really stand for values that they are very serious about enforcing. All right, so there is a very grounded, solid, hard exterior and interior, if you have your moon there, that is represented by these beings. Don't mess with these beings, because you don't want to get the bull mad. With Saturn there, they have all the authority to run you over, okay? Barring its earth element, it does really help with wealth if you're okay with a long-term grind. Once again, you cannot rush Taurus, talk less of Saturn, and given its fixed quality, it provides a foundation through this integrity that can quite literally last generations and lifetimes. All right, other than that, because it is also the second individual sign, this is what once again brings in notions of independence, ownership. The producer is going to produce their own stuff. So anything favorable helps. Now, potential negatives, they could be very stubborn. Okay, like take the stubbornness of Taurus, multiply it by an entire world, right? And that's what you have with, a Saturn Taurus. They will not budge on their convictions. And sometimes this can keep them stuck until they're able to kind of perceive different perspectives, as we'll talk about with the Gemini and other mutable sign placements. Regardless, super solid, very solid placement. If you have this placement, take your time with things. The time you take is your power. The authority that you really exert on what you own is your power. Own it, and I'll see you next video.